Let's talk some NFC South here on Pro Football Today. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers control their own destiny, and with a win, they will once again win the NFC South. The Atlanta Falcons will be playing the Carolina Panthers. A win for Atlanta and a Tampa Bay loss would get the Falcons that division crown, a division that Atlanta was favored to win coming into this season. It's a very interesting game for Tampa Bay, who need this game, but are such sizable favorites that I think there is arguably more chatter around what Mike Evans needs for some history opposed to what the Bucs need for this game. And it is understandable. Mike Evans is looking for another 1,000-yard season. He's also kind of like the incentive guy. It's Week 18. You know your incentive props are out there. You know you got involved with some. Mike Evans is today like the poster boy for incentive prop bettors and what have you. Lisi, with such a big number like we have in this football game, it's very tricky to bet. I ended up playing the under at 45.5. I think, listen, the Bucs today, maybe they run, sling, gun, boom, boom, boom. Here's 35 points. Maybe. Even if they score 35, I might be okay. The Saints offense, you know it well. It is lifeless. Maybe Tampa Bay, with everything going on, it's a little up and down early. It's a tough game. I'm under 45.5.
I'm with you in terms of the under. I lean to that because if Tampa Bay is going to win, I think they win by margin, but I think it's maybe like 28-3, 28-10 at most in regards to that. Think about last week in terms of Tampa Bay, right? They're a hot team. They've won 5 of the last 6. Baker Mayfield, 359 through the air. Bucky Irvin, 20 carries, 113 yards on the ground. They're running it and throwing it, staying in manageable third down situations. Defense has been opportunistic. And on the flip side for New Orleans, they started good with the Riz, right? But they are absolutely atrocious. They've lost 3 straight by an average margin of defeat of 16.6 points per game. Leading wide receiver last week, Jawan Johnson, 6 receptions, 66 yards. Absolutely pathetic. They scored on a flea flicker last week. They're lucky if they get 10-13 today, Donnie.
It'll be interesting to watch it play out from my side because you look at the defense for the Buccaneers, absolutely ravaged now in the secondary. I mean, they're having guys getting in car crashes, days before a game that are probably going to be out for the playoffs. So you're looking at cornerback safeties that won't be available. And I understand, and I've brought this up many times. Just because you have a bad defense, you still need some players that are going to be able to exploit that bad defense. I'm not so sure New Orleans has that, but they'll be trying today because one thing I do know, Baker Mayfield's going to put up a lot of numbers. He's going to throw 2 touchdown passes. He's throwing for 250-plus yards. Mike Evans will be over 100 yards today, which means you might have a chance where the Saints are like, well, we don't want to win, but we're down 21-7 in the second quarter. Heck, why don't we play some offense and still have some fun in this one? If you're looking for a team total, it is expensive for the Buccaneers. But if this game is going over the total, the same way I felt last night, it was going to be driven by the Baltimore Ravens going against a meaningless football team. Forget about the total itself. Eventually got there, but you saw the heavy lifting done by the Ravens. Same thing in this game for the Bucs. So I do think it goes over 44.5, but this game won't go over 44.5 unless the Bucs are doing the heavy lifting, which I think they will. Do I want to approach the 14.5? It's always tough because it's 3 touchdowns, and once you get that lead late in the fourth quarter, you still might have starters in, but you're not throwing deep passes here, extending that football game. You're just looking to get out of there. So for me, I do think the Bucs can hit their team total. I think this game can go over because I think both of these defenses are damages. I'm not surprised the Bucs go for 35-plus today. I won't be.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out. I'll just say one prop on the New Orleans side, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They got him involved.
Today, right?
Yeah, 32.5 I think is a little bit light in terms of the rushing attack. Yeah. They actually have all 3 running backs listed. Kendra Miller,
for him, right?
Jamal Williams, and Edwards-Helaire. I think Edwards-Helaire has got pretty good burn, 40-50-plus potentially. LSU guy.
I want to just quickly with Mike Evans. So the incentive stuff, obviously, again, it's talked about a lot. You add in the history of it all. And, so today Mike Evans' number is 96.5, right? So, Don, let's say this was a primetime game.
Yeah.
What would be the first thing that you do? All right, let me take Mike Evans down. Today on 2 books, the lowest level for Mike Evans, 90-plus. They're not even giving you the 80-plus.
No.
Total receptions, right? It needs 5 for some money. Lowest level, 7. Sorry, we could. It's
still go over.
And I agree, but that is why, personally, the incentive betting, I think it had its moment. I know people are still interested in it. You can still make some money in it, but the books are so aware. Like, I mean, Lisi, have you ever seen Mike Evans? Like,
No.
we're not getting 60, 70, 80.
No.
Because they're like, we know you're going to tack that
Right.
in every parlay, and it's essentially a free leg.
And then think about it. You always run the risk, I hate to say it, but the injury factor is always there. When you have such a high number, 96, 100, they have to play the whole game. One nick, and especially if they're up by 14 points, that's always a concern.
What I would be interested in, if it was offered anywhere, would be Mike Evans to have 100 yards in the first half. Something along those lines. Because
incentive-based, basically.
Yeah, listen, Mike Evans has had multiple injuries throughout this season. They don't need Mike Evans running around there if this game goes the way it's supposed to go for Tampa Bay. With the second game, though, in Atlanta, Carolina, there will be no indication for Atlanta, at least until about halftime. Mm-hmm. They have to go out there, give it their all. Penix is starting anyway, so they were always going to do that. They're a 7.5-point favorite in this game, Joe. Any feelings around how to play this game with Atlanta and Carolina?
I really like Carolina, and this is just more that I believe more in Carolina with their backups in terms of the defense than I do in terms of Raheem Morris and that gutless Atlanta Falcon team. I've said it all season long. They're complete frauds. They've lived up to expectations, and I don't care that Michael Penix is the quarterback. Again, they went toe-to-toe with Washington. The time management in the fourth quarter, absolutely atrocious. I believe Raheem Morris is Arthur Smith 2.0. I really believe that. There's no difference between both of these coaches. You've seen it now that Kirk Cousins didn't live up to expectations. He wasn't the savior. They're not carrying him down Main Street in Atlanta, to win the NFC Championship. And I actually think Carolina could be live to potentially win this ball game outright. I understand it's back-to-back road games, but Bryce Young, at least down the stretch, has played more consistent. They ran into a buzzsaw in terms of Tampa Bay. That's not the team in terms of the other side. I think, actually, they potentially could win this ball game out.
I don't think so. I think they get beat by 14+, and I have Bijan going absolutely nuts in this game. Carolina, understand this, worst defense in the NFL overall. Last game of the season. They don't want to win this game. And also from a perspective, which we're going to look at in some other games like the Green Bay Packers, what does it mean for Atlanta? I don't care if Atlanta is looking up at the scoreboard at 41-0 at the half. This team is going to play all the way through. Raheem Morris is still there. He's going to be their head coach and hopes to be next year. I don't understand, like, you don't say, hey, you set the table, it leads to next year. No, it doesn't. But no starters are coming out of this football game unless it's the 2-minute warning. Because, again, you watch yesterday's football game with the Baltimore Ravens. So many people, because my favorite bet, Kevin, was over 1.5 touchdown passes for Lamar. And I said it. I thought he would get there in the first half. He didn't. Got there in the first drive of the second half. But most people, man, he might be on the bench by 10 minutes ago in the third quarter. No, that's not the way NFL teams play when they're playing their starters unless that game is completely wrapped up. And they still played their starters well up to just about the 2-minute warning. So for Atlanta, they are full gas against a team that could care less about this football game. Bijan, for me, well over 100, multiple touchdowns here. They won't be able to stop him. And watch out for Bijan going for a 50-plus yard touchdown today.
I'm taking Bijan's receiving number at 17.5. He's now missed this in 4 straight games. But Penix did target him 5 times last week. Darnell Mooney likely to miss this game. Ray McCloud hit the bench in that game against Washington. Could free up opportunities for somebody who, before this 4-game downtick, was averaging well over 30 yards per game in the receiving. Quickly on Carolina, Bryce Young the bar got so low for Bryce that when we saw some competency, it was awesome. And I really like Bryce Young. It is interesting, though, if they lose this game, who knows where Carolina falls in the draft or with even in the offseason. 7 games, this, stretch of better football where they won, multiple games. 9 touchdowns, 3 picks, 6.6 yards per attempt, 208 yards a game, 59.5 completion percentage. He's not necessarily lighting the world on fire here. I don't think it would hurt Bryce Young to go out there and, like you're saying, Lisi, go with Atlanta, whose defense is vulnerable as well.
Yeah, 209.5. I already took it, 209. Yeah. So I think you can get to 2.25, potentially 250 if they open it up.
Yeah, what we're going to do is get over to the Commanders-Cowboys game next with you right here on SportsGrid.
We'll be right back. It's time for a SportsGrid 2-minute drill.
Time now to play a little buy or sell. The Kansas City Chiefs, George, will win their third straight Super Bowl. Are you buying or selling?
They do seem to be hitting their stride. All right, they get now, 3.5 weeks off here, get everybody healthy. Mahomes, the ankle, Kelsey gets the rest. Chris Jones, who missed that game on Christmas, now he gets the rest of it. He's an extremely important part of that defense. So they're looking good. They're covering spreads now, something they weren't doing. Now they're actually winning legitimate games. That being said, that offensive line is still bad. All right, and I think there'll be teams that take advantage of that. No, I'm selling. I'm selling here.
I don't even care if I believe this or not. I'm selling. I do not want to see this. I do not want to see the Chiefs win again. This has not been a fun year watching them. They've gotten lucky. They've gotten some calls. No, please no. Jamar Chase will win the receiving triple crown this season. Yards, receptions, and touchdowns. George, you going to buy or sell this?
I'm going to sell this. I'm going to say, listen, he's great. He's going to have a lot of great numbers here, but I'm going to say no, he won't get the receiver crown. Maybe 2 out of 3. He'll just miss. He'll do a little Aaron Judge. He won't get the average.
All right, I'll play the buy. I'll play the buy card just to play something different in the end, and he was my best player in fantasy this year, so I'll say buy there. I'm going to skip ahead, Sam, to the last one, the running back here. Bucky Irving, who's been fantastic for Tampa Bay, will be a top 8 running back in drafts next season. Is this buy or sell?
Assuming everybody comes back, Godwin, Evans, Mayfield, I see no reason why they wouldn't. I'm going to buy this, Craig. I'm going to buy. I think Bucky Irving is going to be that guy. It's a heavy passing offense, lots of touchdowns. Buy.
Fantasy Sports Today, your weekend source for year-round fantasy insights. 8 a.m. to 11 a.m.
All right, we're back with you right here on SportsGrid. We have a game today between the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Commanders. And the setup for this one is very interesting because for Washington, a win puts them in the 6th spot. A loss doesn't guarantee they would drop to 7, but anyone who is the 7th seed, we know that the Eagles are locked at the 2. And currently, the 3 seed is the Rams. Just based if favorites win today, it'll be the Bucs. I know for you, DRS, you feel that the Washington Commanders today should 100% make sure that they win this football game against Dallas.
All out. It's going to have ramifications around the rest of the NFC, but you're going to sit in this spot and say to yourself, oh, yeah, you know what? We could get some rest here. You're still dealing with a football team trying to learn how to win, and they're winning big games along the way, and I love what I see. It's still a rookie quarterback who you want to get many reps as you possibly can, and this year we're ahead of the game for Washington where it's like, hey, let's get a look-see at Daniels. Maybe in 2 years we'll be playoff contenders. You might be a legitimate playoff contender this year, but you know how you get to be a legitimate playoff contender? That means you can win game number 1. I'm telling you right now, it's not that I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I would love the matchup for the Eagles versus Washington. They would bust them out at Lincoln Financial Field next week. No question in my mind. I don't think that's going to happen because Washington's going to win. Also, understand we're out for Dallas. We don't know if Mike McCarthy is back or not. They're being a little bit coy, which tends to believe that. I think Mike McCarthy is actually going to be back next year, which is insane. But you already saw, once again, Week 18 coaches tell you exactly what they're going to do, and they never tell you anything weeks 1 through 17. The minute you hear, we're getting Trey Lance ready for big-time reps, that means the tank is in. We can't win another football game. We're already on to next year, and Washington is playing this game as a must-win game situation. I missed the number. 3.5 4s early in the week. Let me wait a little bit more. So now they're more of a parlay piece on the money line than taking them at the 7. But I would be shocked if Dallas is viable in this game, which means fourth quarter comes around and it's a one-possession game. I don't see it today. I don't.
Joe, before you tell me what you like in the game, how do you feel about Washington, going all out to avoid the Philadelphia Eagles in round number 1 and passing on a bye week?
I think they go all out, right? But again, I take a different approach.
Right.
I think all out was last week against Atlanta, right? Because that solidified them in terms of the playoff spot, right? So they go all out on a Sunday night primetime game. They go toe-to-toe. They get pushed to the limit. They pull it out in regards to the final 2 minutes of that matchup. They win. They cover by margin. Now they go on the road, right? This is a team that they laid, 10.5 to Cooper Rush and lost the ball game outright, right? So obviously Dallas gets up, right? Still a divisional opponent. I'm not saying Washington doesn't go all out, but they're still a young football team, and you get these ebbs and flows. For me, I don't like the side. I would lean to Washington, but I don't love it. Yeah. I lean to the under, though. I do believe that this is a lower scoring game. And the reason why I just say that is Dallas, I think, will run the football. And I think Washington will utilize the ground attack as well in terms of Brian Robinson. He's been a little bit banged up. You have Chris Rodriguez. Now Austin Eckler might come back for this ball game. They might get him involved a little bit late. But I like the under as my best bet. The only concern is, like, you gave it your all on Sunday night. You win. You're solidified a playoff spot, and now you got to go again. It's a tough ask on the road.
But real quick on this, too, because your points are valid, which you can then counterpoint me. Well, Donnie, why don't you just take the -7 and laugh at the game? Because it's still a touchdown.
Yeah,
that's why I
because
took
it's
it on
Trey
the money
Lance.
line.
That's why.
But here's the thing, though. Like you saw last week, and again, I know the Eagles might be in a little bit different of a stratosphere, even though Washington beat the Eagles. Dallas is a fraud on offense right now. They will not be able to move the football. So what is your number? Like, Washington's a very good offense. Let's just say Washington gets to 24. Do we think Dallas can score 14-plus points in this game? I'm not so sure of that. So me thinking that Washington wins is because, yes, they want to win, and Dallas is just dead in the water right now.
So I took the 7 with Dallas. To me, it's a ton of points, and I think part of that is I think the Cowboys can be a little bit better. I think that Jerry is incredibly stubborn. I think that's why McCarthy will be back. And I actually, Donnie, what I would disagree with is I don't think Jerry's telling Mike to lose this game one bit. I don't think Jerry has it in him. I think Trey Lance is playing because if Trey Lance would have, however much, he's like, no, listen, I think Trey might be our quarterback next season. I don't know, Dak, get him in a competition. He's nuts. I think another part of the reason that I'm doing this is I disagree with what Washington is doing here today.
Okay.
And I think the Philadelphia Eagles are the absolute best team in football. Jaden Daniels, Lisa, you're right, all out. 16 rush attempts. I'm still surprised he got up off the floor in overtime. That hit that he took right before they won that football game on the touchdown pass to Zach Ertz, the hit he took on the run. Yeah. He has ran the football 36 times in the last 3 weeks. Tell you what, fine. And I know sometimes you don't want to make like, oh, one person's more important than the other. Let's not pretend. He's more important. Terry, you want to play? Have fun. I don't care. He's not playing. Mariota, you looked great when we ran it up on Carolina. If Dallas is dead, good. You run it up on Dallas. That kid should not be playing. Because now, ultimately, you're going out there against a divisional opponent who has already beat you, right? You're going up there still with Micah Parsons, who will be playing carefree, will be hitting the quarterback. And one thing is, you saw it yesterday. You would think, hey, listen, it's a dead game. Don't run. You tell that to Lamar yesterday, who's running around with his hair on fire, getting away from Myles Garrett, can't get my half a sack prop. He's going to run. That's who he is.
Yeah.
It's why he's the Offensive Rookie of the Year favorite in the way that he is. We sat here on this desk. It is not apples to apples, the Detroit Lions situation in Washington here today, but the idea, the unmitigated gall to, oh, well, Washington will just beat Tampa Bay. Oh, what? Hold on. Yeah, 37-20. I get it was week number 1. That's not the case. No. It's not. And what if they go out and they end up playing the L.A. Rams? I think they are missing a major opportunity. Green Bay could lose anyway today against Chicago.
No, that's a good point. Another divisional game. They're catching 10.5. You're right. They're a young team. So that consistency that you get from week to week, especially think about it, the Eagles, then Atlanta, now Dallas, and it's on the road. I just think, that's asking a lot, and to cover a 7-point number, that's why I'm not laying it today.
We saw Zay Flowers get injured yesterday, right, Donnie?
Yeah,
but the Ravens had to play that football game.
Yep.
Washington, I guess, what's interesting, right, is the Texans are so dead. Like, the Chargers or the Steelers going for it makes way more sense to me than what we're seeing from Washington. It is what it is. We'll do some Sports Millions Pick'em and the Eagles game next.
We'll be right back. It's time for a SportsGrid 2-minute drill.
Time now to play a little buy or sell. Kansas City Chiefs, George, will win their third straight Super Bowl. Are you buying or selling?
They do seem to be hitting their stride. All right, they get now, 3.5 weeks off here, get everybody healthy. Mahomes with the ankle, Kelsey gets the rest. Chris Jones, who missed that game on Christmas, now he gets started the rest of it. He's an extremely important part of that defense. So they're looking good. They're covering spreads now, something they weren't doing. Now they're actually winning legitimate games. That being said, that offensive line is still bad. All right, and I think there'll be teams that take advantage of that. No, I'm selling. I'm selling here.
I don't even care if I believe this or not. I'm selling. I do not want to see this. I do not want to see the Chiefs win again. This has not been a fun year watching them. They've gotten lucky. They've gotten some calls. No, please no. Jamar Chase will win the receiving triple crown this season. Yards, receptions, and touchdowns. George, you going to buy or sell this?
I'm going to sell this. I'm going to say, listen, he's great. He's going to have a lot of great numbers here, but I'm going to say no, he won't get the receiver crown. Maybe 2 out of 3. He'll just miss. He'll do a little Aaron Judge. He won't get the average.
All right, I'll play the buy. I'll play the buy card just to play something different in the end, and he was my best player in fantasy this year, so I'll say buy there. I'm going to skip ahead, Sam, to the last one, the running back here. Bucky Irving, who's been fantastic for Tampa Bay, will be a top 8 running back in drafts next season. Is this buy or sell?
Assuming everybody comes back, Godwin, Evans, Mayfield, I see no reason why they wouldn't. I'm going to buy this, Craig. I'm going to buy. I think Bucky Irving is going to be that guy. It's a heavy passing offense, lots of touchdowns. Buy.
Fantasy Sports Today, your weekend source for year-round fantasy insights. 8 a.m. to 11 a.m.
We're live right here on Pro Football Today. Kevin Walsh with you on SportsGrid. And it's time for some Sports Millions Pick'em. I'm here with both Donnie Rightside and Joe Lisi. And when we look at the game today between the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Giants, it's missing a lot of superstars. Yet there are still plenty of options for the Sports Millions Pick'em. On the Eagles side, Jake Elliott, higher than 6.5 kicking points, I think makes a ton of sense. One thing that Philadelphia Eagles, I'm sure, would like to get going is that kicking game. You look now, last 3 weeks for Elliott, 9, 15, and 11 points there. I think we could see Elliott step up for this game. One guy we will not see step up for the Eagles today is Saquon Barkley. And Saquon has been the talk of the town for a week now. And I think one of the reasons, Donnie, that this topic hit even an extra level was, I thought, a visibly disappointed Saquon speaking with the media who had wished that he had a chance to run for the record today. Instead, he, A.J. Brown, Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, and a few others won't be going for Philly.
Well, then you should have had the eye on the prize early in the season against your future or former opponents in the New York Giants, where I say, hey, kid, you want to go down and spin another 20, 25 yards here at this point? Nah, let the young kids eat. And then also agreed, obviously, to once you get to 2,000 yards, you're coming out of the football game against the Dallas Cowboys. If you did not agree to that and let you spin for an extra 15 carries in the fourth quarter, and they said, you know what? You're 13 yards away. We're not going to let you go out there and get this. That would have been a shame because that's 2 carries, get them in, get out. The chance for injury probably extremely low. But the fact of the matter is, do you think that the New York Giants honestly said, well, they're a dead football team, and they are? You know what their defensive coordinator would do? We're going to put 11 in the box. You could throw 17 touchdown passes in the first 17 throws you make. We're not letting him rush for a yard. So then Saquon gets to the break, 18 carries for 36 yards, and then you run him another 18 times in the second half, and he doesn't get it, and then you go into the playoffs. Because we always look at the positives, like, yeah, just get him in, run him 10 times in the first quarter, he gets it. That's not the case when you're playing teams on the other side. You see Derrick Henry in the first half yesterday? What do you have at the half? Like, my goodness, just put him on the bench and put him in ice until he goes away, until finally, late in the football game, he broke through.
Yeah, 33 yards at the half for Henry yesterday. So think about that. And then, obviously, you run the risk of injury. They have their eye on the prize. They want to get back to the playoffs. They want to get back to the NFC Championship and make a Super Bowl run. And you need Saquon Barkley 100% healthy in order to do that. So I think it's a no-brainer in terms of this game today.
So to me, I would just say on Saquon, and you and I have talked about this a bit. It's hit me a little more. I am very disappointed in what they did against Dallas. Like, the more I think about it,
Correct.
the more I think about how that game played out, their decision, Saquon hits a 23-yard run, and the ball then was at the Dallas 23-yard line, right? They could have hit, there was another 23 yards available. The offense then went, he left the game. He didn't come back in. The offense went back out there. The ball was at the 49-yard line of Dallas. The way they were running, that's around 80 or so yards that could have belonged, not 80, 70 yards or so that could have belonged to Saquon Barkley. They passed on those yards. If they didn't pass on those yards, I think we would be having a different conversation here today. Another Sports Millions pick'em option to me is Wan'Dale Robinson. Higher. His receiving number today is 39.5. The last two games for Wan'Dale, 71 and 62. The two games before that landed 38 exactly, despite 20 targets. I think Wan'Dale still going to be a big part of the Giants' puzzle moving forward, so I expect him to still play well today. I do think there will be a lot of eyes on Malik Neighbors. 2 receptions will get him the single-season rookie wide receiver record. And I also think Malik Neighbors is probably riding high off of his incredible performance that ended the Colts season last week.
171 yards, 2 touchdowns, dynamic. And as long as Drew Lock is throwing for 309 through the air, Wan'Dale Robinson is a great look.
What you're hoping for here, too, at this point is that you are, if you tell me right now you're getting Drew Lock 4 quarters, why won't they move the football? They're all backups for the Eagles just looking to get into the playoffs, and this is a team that has showed. Drew Lock has had some pretty good moments here, and no pass rush coming at you. You're going to have no linebackers. You're going to have no secondary that's going to be pushing through, and you are going to have guys that are looking to pad their stats and head into the offseason. Like, Drew Lock should have a decent day today.
It is his game last week, just statistically, one of the best of any quarterback all season. I still can hardly wrap my head around it. Those are your options on Sports Millions Pick 'em. We'll talk about some NFC battles next, right here on Pro Football Today.
We'll be right back. It's time for a SportsGrid 2-minute drill.
Time now to play a little buy or sell. The Kansas City Chiefs, George, will win their 3rd straight Super Bowl. Are you buying or selling?
They do seem to be hitting their stride. All right, they get now, 3.5 weeks off here, get everybody healthy. Mahomes to the ankle, Kelsey gets the rest. Chris Jones, who missed that game on Christmas, now he gets the rest of it. He's an extremely important part of that defense. So they're looking good. They're covering spreads now, something they weren't doing. Now they're actually winning legitimate games. That being said, that offensive line is still bad. All right, and I think there'll be teams that take advantage of that. No, I'm selling. I'm selling here.
I don't even care if I believe this or not. I'm selling. I do not want to see this. I do not want to see the Chiefs win again. This has not been a fun year watching them. They've gotten lucky. They've gotten some calls. No, please no. Jamar Chase will win the receiving triple crown this season. Yards, receptions, and touchdowns. George, you going to buy or sell this?
I'm going to sell this. I'm going to say, he's great. He's going to have a lot of great numbers here, but I'm going to say no, he won't get the receiver crown. Maybe 2 out of 3. He'll just miss. He'll do a little Aaron Judge. He won't get the average.
All right, I'll play the buy. I'll play the buy card just to play something different in the end, and he was my best player in fantasy this year, so I'll say buy there. I'm going to skip ahead, Sam, to the last one, the running back here. Bucky Irving, who's been fantastic for Tampa Bay, will be a top 8 running back in drafts next season. Is this buy or sell?
Assuming everybody comes back, Godwin, Evans, Mayfield, I see no reason why they wouldn't. I'm going to buy this, Craig. I'm going to buy. I think Bucky Irving is going to be that guy. It's a heavy passing offense, lots of touchdowns. Buy.
Fantasy Sports Today, your weekend source for year-round fantasy insights. 8 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Live with you right here on SportsGrid. We take a look at some of the NFC teams in action today whose approaches are varying. We'll start the Green Bay Packers. They're going to go up against the Chicago Bears. They are now a 10.5-point favorite. We did just get some of the inactive reports that are going to be coming out. Christian Watson is active. Why? Romeo Doubs is out, though, with an illness. I understand that the Green Bay Packers are I don't really understand, actually. Like, the Bears are lifeless, right? Jordan Love's not been the pillar of health this season.
Freezing cold.
You don't control your own destiny at all. Look, I think the Eagles are the best team in football, so I understand not wanting to go into that battle. The Green Bay Packers are, listen, I mean, the game against Minnesota maybe shifted, but before the way that game went, how it did against Minnesota, I felt like the Packers were the second best team in the NFC. The look-ahead line has Green Bay only a field goal underdog against the Eagles. You're not drawn dead. Well, they're going out there, Donnie. 10-bell effort against the Chicago Bears here today.
See, if I ran the Packers, they would be playing no starters today. And okay, if the Dallas Cowboys upset the Washington Commanders, so be it at this point. But you sort of have to play percentages, right? And then when we do in handicapping, like analytics, it's playing the percentages which make the right decision, which don't always turn out to be right, because the same way, hey, you should always go for it. You don't always get the first down. But hear me out on this. The Philadelphia Eagles are at home right now resting for you, per se, next week. You're going to go all out in a football game that you think that Washington is going to win, which renders this game meaningless. And to your point, Christian Watson's got a banged-up knee. Yeah, give it a go. Have a couple plays in the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. And also, we always think about worst case, like, oh, he blew out his knee or he hurt his Achilles. How about just a simple concussion and you don't play next week?
Yeah.
How about a twisted ankle when I'm rolling out of the pocket for your quarterback? Oh, I'm not playing next week. And maybe you could voice it for me as the Green Bay Packers going full gas, because why? The Philadelphia Eagles had to win their game today to solidify the number 2 overall seed, which could have been a scenario had they not won last week. You say, okay, well, we get them an even footing. You're not. The Eagles are at home. They'll be rested. When you went full gas in a meaningless football game, I don't get it. I still don't get it.
Yeah, I would take a different approach. I would, and the reason why I say that is I don't think their offenses looked all that good. And I know they only lost by 2 points to Minnesota. They were getting absolutely kicked in the teeth, 27-10 for much of that game. When they run the football consistently with Josh Jacobs, they're an effective football team. But you look at Jordan Love over the last 4 weeks, Kev, he's only averaged 200.5 passing yards per game. Granted, game flow is played into some of those performances, but I don't think he's looked consistent to me. You're playing a dead team in terms of Chicago that has lost 10 straight by an average margin of defeat of 10.9 points per game. They're 0-7 on the road this year, have lost those games by an average margin of defeat of 11.4 points per game. If I'm Matt LaFleur, I'm not going in potentially to Philadelphia or any type of situation with my quarterback playing that way. I think they open it up. One of my better bets today, I did take Jordan Love up to 250. I think they smashed the Chicago Bears today.
But also, just from looking at it, because I do agree, the sentiment does make some sense. But the reason why, again, we look at the Philadelphia Eagles on resting players, so I'm like, did you watch Week 18 last year where the Eagles went into the Meadowlands to take on the Giants? Same scenario, Joe. Yep. Not playing good football. Let's get our offense in order. Jalen Hurts on his throwing hand dislocates a finger. A.J. Brown was lost for the season. They got melted the next week. So I think, like, rest, hey, let's take a step back. Let's see what happens in this game. We'll play it maybe even for a first quarter. Oh, look, 14-point lead for Washington. Everybody's out. We're on to Philadelphia. And I understand what football coaches coach and GMs coach and some fans out there, hey, we didn't earn anything. Let's get our offense going. I get it. But the minute you get one player injured, like the Baltimore Ravens in a meaningful football game, lose Zay Flowers ago, man, that really hurts. You would hate to lose anybody in a game that means absolutely nothing.
And I think, Donnie, like, even if I push back and say it could mean something for Green Bay, right? It could. They might be, I'm not saying I would agree with the line. They might be favored in Tampa Bay, honestly, if that ended up being the matchup. But, like, for Green Bay, are they playing because Dan Campbell, we play? Are they playing because they agree with Joe that the offense has not looked the way they wanted to, and they want to? Okay, so if that's are we playing a quarter, playing a half, we're playing a drive, right?
Right.
Or are they playing because they want the 6th seed badly? So they're watching. All right, Washington's up big. We're out of here. But that makes this a difficult game. I took Caleb Williams over 31.5 pass attempts in this game. One, he's been going through this number, and teams have been going through this number against Green Bay. Two, they should throw the football every play. Let him just go out there and just keep getting reps. The play calling's bad enough as is. Forget the DeAndre Swift handoffs. Let's get to game number 2. The Rams are looking around at what Washington's doing, at what the Packers are doing, at the fact that the Lions and Vikings are going 10-bell effort, and they are laughing. They are benching Stafford, Kyren, Puka, Cooper Kupp, and it is coming at a price. If favorites hold, the Rams will go from the 3 projected to play Washington to the 5 projected to play Minnesota or Detroit. That is a difference in number. Undoubtedly. That is a difference in the Rams being a favorite and an underdog, I would imagine, Donnie. So how do you feel about the Rams' decision-making heading into this game?
Again, it's a little bit different once you already have that home playoff game secured. You can probably say to yourself, you know what, we're going to be home anyway, whether it's in another game. I don't think you really want to pick your opponent at that point because rest in the NFL is so important. It's why we always talk about, hey, coming off the bye week, this team's played 4 straight weeks, this team is off a bye. That is a massive advantage, even more massive at the end of the year. Like, you can rest a veteran like Matthew Stafford. Puka Nakua's had the aches, the pains all season long, an extra week. We don't even know what we're seeing out of Cooper Kupp late in the season. Who knows if he was injured, but getting him an extra week off and also understanding this. When you pull yourself out of the equation, you're no longer game planning for that week. You're on to the playoffs and already getting your entire organization set on maybe 1 or 2 football teams that you can pinball an eye when maybe that other organization doesn't get the same opportunity.
Yeah, last year they had to go right to the end, right? They were trending towards the end of the regular season. This year they get the opportunity to take a bye, and I agree with Donnie because they're a mash unit, basically. Cooper Kupp is basically on one leg, so is Puka, and Matt Stafford could always use extra rest. So for that team, an aging team in certain areas, I think the rest is important for them matching up in terms of whoever they match up in the first round of the playoffs. So I agree with that. Again, this game today, 7 points, it's Jimmy G. You want to take a shot, Blake Corum and some of those backups, probably Tutu Atwell, Demarcus Robinson, and maybe some of the tight ends. That's a potential pretty good look, but I still think maybe you get points in this matchup.
I took the Rams team total at 14.5. Jimmy Garoppolo, though, again, we talk about backup quality. Yeah. He certainly has it. Last year, with Carson Wentz going out there, we saw the Rams win that football game. We saw them score 21 points in that football game, and I think that Garoppolo can go out there and give a similar, look, for Seattle, the season is over, right? So I'm not sure, Geno's going to be throwing all game. He got one of the incentives for the day is tied to some Geno Smith numbers, so you'll see Geno throwing. I really like the Rams team total at 14.5, minus 112 was the juice on that. I do feel very good. Again, I find it very fascinating to see how the LA Rams are going to be going about this, where I think for them, Donnie, maybe a little bit. And again, this is why this is part of the reason we were so hard maybe on Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
Where the Rams go, if we lose and the Bucs win, we're going to be playing the Vikings or Lions, who are coming off of game of the year, knock them, drag them out, massive battle, and we get the upper hand in that football game. And for the Rams, probably not scared of anybody. I was talking with one of our producers pre-show, right? Active quarterbacks with a Super Bowl. I think it's just Mahomes and Stafford, man. Like, McVay, that is a 1-2 combination that'll take their chances with anybody.
Absolutely, and it's a smart decision. When you have the key veteran players that could really need a break, that's what you're going to do because you are refreshed and you're at home. You don't have to travel the following week. You don't have to go across country. The other team's got to go cross country to come play you. Whenever I look at the future of a team, it's can you win the Super Bowl or not, and how do you put your best foot forward here going after it? That's the way to do it. So for me, always rest above, unless you're looking to actually play a team like the Texans who you think you can beat. Otherwise, forget about it.
Yeah, we'll see how that game plays out, but it's interesting. Yeah. Different approaches. Curious.
Yep.
Again, and I think it is there will be a level of confirmation bias next week.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Then the criticism will come out. Yeah. See ya.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here. Get some party overs in the mix.
We'll be right back. It's time for a SportsGrid 2-minute drill.
Time now to play a little buy or sell. Kansas City Chiefs, George, will win their third straight Super Bowl. Are you buying or selling?
They do seem to be hitting their stride. All right, they get now, 3.5 weeks off here, get everybody healthy. Mahomes the ankle, Kelsey gets the rest. Chris Jones, who missed that game on Christmas, now he gets the rest of it. He's an extremely important part of that defense. So they're looking good. They're covering spreads now, something they weren't doing. Now they're actually winning legitimate games. That being said, that offensive line is still bad. All right, and I think there'll be teams that take advantage of that. No, I'm selling. I'm selling here.
I don't even care if I believe this or not. I'm selling. I do not want to see this. I do not want to see the Chiefs win again. This has not been a fun year watching them. They've gotten lucky. They've gotten some calls. No, please no. Jamar Chase will win the receiving triple crown this season. Yards, receptions, and touchdowns. George, you going to buy or sell this?
I'm going to sell this. I'm going to say, listen, he's great. He's going to have a lot of great numbers here, but I'm going to say no, he won't get the receiver crown. Maybe 2 out of 3 here. He'll just miss. He'll do a little Aaron Judge. He won't get the average.
All right, I'll play the buy. I'll play the buy card just to play something different in the end, and he was my best player in fantasy this year, so I'll say buy there. I'm going to skip ahead, Sam, to the last one, the running back here. Bucky Irving, who's been fantastic for Tampa Bay, will be a top 8 running back in drafts next season. Is this buy or sell?
Assuming everybody comes back, Godwin, Evans, Mayfield, I see no reason why they wouldn't. I'm going to buy this, Craig. I'm going to buy. I think Bucky Irving is going to be that guy. It's a heavy passing offense, lots of touchdowns. Buy.
Fantasy Sports Today, your weekend source for year-round fantasy insights, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m.
All right, let's look for some juice. One game that we didn't get the chance to hit just yet, I want to make sure we do, is the Chargers game against the Raiders. I took 7 points in this one as well. The Raiders can't help themselves but win. I understand the Chargers would love a victory, get up to the 5 seed. I know Harbaugh said he's playing guys. It doesn't necessarily mean they win by margin. This number shot up from 4.5 to 7 due to the fact that the Chargers now want the victory a little bit more. They're playing for something, and I think I'm going to go the other way and grab the 7 points here, Lisi. I don't feel super strong on the total, though.
I would lay the points, but again, the Raiders are playing well. They've won 2 straight, and you look at the total. It opened at 40.5. You're seeing 42.5 in the market. This is one of my better picks for 4 o'clock. I love the total today. I think potentially Herbert. I think his number's 280 today, and you see O'Connell at 243.5. You could get both guys 300+, and Brock Bowers still leading and looking for the rookie record with Puka Nacua. He's fighting with Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas. He had 77 yards through the air last week. He eats again. Give me the over in this matchup.
Yeah, Chargers do have a good defense, but I think I'm with Joe in this one. Coming back after that injury for Aiden O'Connell, he's actually played some pretty good football, and now you've activated the Chargers saying, we're going to play all our starters, wide receivers, tight ends, offensive line, and running backs here to get into good form in the playoffs. And if you wanted to see what Jim Harbaugh thought about it was probably a little bit of a leap for them to try to climb up and get the 5th seed, which he said he wanted. Now the fact last night you saw the Pittsburgh Steelers lose, they're going to go full tilt in this game. It's in a dome. We don't have to worry about any weather conditions here. I'm looking at points as well. Justin Herbert over 1.5 touchdown passes. Love it now. Why? Because I just need to see a heartbeat from Vegas, and I think I will now in this game.
All right, so let's see how we continue to move on then through this slate here, including Josh Allen today, looking to keep the streak going of consecutive starts. There are some questions about what does that mean today for Josh Allen. Some think he checks in, hands it off, checks out. I think this is really simple. Lamar yesterday did not have a great game. Burrow yesterday did not have a great game. All Josh Allen needs to do, drive 1, touchdown, walk off that field, and the MVP is yours. I think that's all he needs to do, Lisi. It may already be his, but I think Josh Allen gets the scoring going early in this game. You want to take a first quarter total? I don't mind you. I took the full game. I think we got juice here, 36 and a hook.
All right, so I lean to the under, but I'm with you in terms of Buffalo. I think it's a Billy Club special. I think they smashed New England in terms of this matchup. Last time they played 24-21, Buffalo led a 14.5-point number. I think they remember that. They got pushed to the limit in Orchard Park by Drake May. Not this time. They run it early. They run it often. They run it right down New England's throat. I do feel that Buffalo's the best side, but I lean to the under 36.5 in terms of the total.
Yeah, we'll see. Deion Dawkins is inactive today, which no surprise. They're going to be resting a lot of guys. I'm interested to see how they do play this because for me, I actually think he takes a snap, hands off, and leaves the football game immediately because I don't even know how you rationalize playing him for one series in a meaningless game when the only reason we know he's out there is because he wants to extend his starting streak, which would be intact once you take the first snap of the football game. I'm interested to see how they do play it out because if you were trying to take a side, you know New England doesn't want to win this football game. And again, Buffalo's in that position where they're not worried about ruining where they're going to be drafting because that's going to take place in the playoffs, how far you win if you lose first game. So I do think you get an honest effort out of the Bills' backups here. It's still hard, though. Like, you're laying points in a game that you don't need to win, the other team doesn't need to win. But if there's one game today that I would say that maybe the backups would be able to handle one team, it's probably the New England Patriots. That whole team's backups anyway.
The Patriots' incentives to lose are massive.
Yes.
I will tell you, though, this morning I'm sure a lot of you are seeing Adam Schefter of ESPN did a big report on coaches in, out, leaning. He thinks that Gerard Mayo will be out of New England. And this is called damned if you do, damned if you don't. Win this game? All right, I don't know what you're thinking. Get out of here, all right? You just cost us the first pick. Lose this game? I told you, you're terrible. You're 3-14.
Yeah.
Hit the bricks here. I'm starting to think we're getting a new coach in New England. Maybe we'll ask Adam Kaplan in a little bit. Are we going to get a new coach in Tennessee? Probably not. New quarterback? I don't know. What if Will Levis has some juice? What if Will Levis has juice? I like the Titans in this one, laying 1.5.
I like the other side. I like Houston a lot, and whether they go to Davis Mills in regards to the first half, second half, it doesn't matter. What I can tell you is this is one of my better bets for the day. I think we blow right through the 36.5. Why? Because you look at Houston in terms of their last performance, 2 points against Baltimore at home. You've gotten abused. You're limping into the playoffs. This offense of Bobby Slowick look absolutely atrocious. You have a beaten-down team in terms of Tennessee. You open it up. You put up points. You feel good about yourself heading into the playoffs. They might get 36 on their own today,
Like,
Kevin.
I can't believe Houston's playing their starters in this game again. And I understand maybe get a little bit right. Maybe it's one drive, put a touch on the board. But if you're Houston, you're going to play all 4 quarters. Then you're going to get broken in half next week. And heaven forbid a team that's known about injuries. How about like Will Anderson goes down in this game? Like I just sometimes I understand it's football. You're supposed to play. Coaches are always going to get the players the way they want to play, but you have to save them from themselves. You gain nothing, Houston, from being on the road in this football game other than losing players and having attrition on a team that can't afford any more attrition than they do have now. And I think from a Tennessee side, they're playing their starters today. Do I love the game? No, but I agree that they are the favorite. Houston, if Houston plays their starters the full game and wins, I'm just going to be out of my mind baffled. But I really am.
They've said, Donnie, they're not going to play the full game, but that's why I really like Tennessee.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's stop and go, right? If the Texans are up early, the guys come out, cool. If the Texans are down early when they come out, even better. I really like the Titans in that game. Jags-Colts, I like Indianapolis. I love their team total today. 23.5. The defense might have quit. Offensive guys don't quit. Offensive guys don't quit as much because it's fun putting up points. And I think today Shane Steichen and Joe Flacco go out there. This looks like all those Brown games, 350 plus, bing, bing, bing. I went a different way with my sell me something, but if you want something old school style, give me Flacco through every number under the sun.
I'm treading lightly on this game. Last time they played, Flacco did throw for 300 plus in the loss to Trevor Lawrence. It was 37-34. I think this game's a dead under. I think that both teams are checked out. They want to get out of Dodge. They might run the football. Again, I lean to the Jags. They're a little bit more consistent. You saw Indianapolis get abused, but give me the under, guys.
I don't know. I think this game for you, I'm surprised you're on the under. Because this just feels like fireworks on both sides.
It?
Both coaches might be out of here. You have Mac Jones trying to make a living. Flacco's trying to actually get involved next year in the season. You got some dominant wideouts. You got a running back that could take it to the house. You got Tank on one side. You got ETN. Come on, can I sway you?
No.
Did I sell you?
Wow. But here's the thing, Don. He's on the under. That sounds like intel.
Wow.
Points, baby.
We'll be right back. It's time for a SportsGrid 2-minute drill.
Time now to play a little buy or sell. The Kansas City Chiefs, George, will win their third straight Super Bowl. Are you buying or selling?
They do seem to be hitting their stride. All right, they get now, 3.5 weeks off here, get everybody healthy. Mahomes to the ankle, Kelsey gets the rest. Chris Jones, who missed that game on Christmas, now he gets the rest of it. He's an extremely important part of that defense. So they're looking good. They're covering spreads now, something they weren't doing. Now they're actually winning legitimate games. That being said, that offensive line is still bad. All right, and I think there'll be teams that take advantage of that. No, I'm selling. I'm selling here.
I don't even care if I believe this or not. I'm selling. I do not want to see this. I do not want to see the Chiefs win again. This has not been a fun year watching them. They've gotten lucky. They've gotten some calls. No, please no. Jamar Chase will win the receiving triple crown this season. Yards, receptions, and touchdowns. George, you going to buy or sell this?
I'm going to sell this. I'm going to say, he's great. He's going to have a lot of great numbers here, but I'm going to say no, he won't get the receiver crown. Maybe 2 out of 3. He'll just miss. He'll do a little Aaron Judge. He won't get the average.
All right, I'll play the buy. I'll play the buy card just to play something different in the end, and he was my best player in fantasy this year, so I'll say buy there. I'm going to skip ahead, Sam, to the last one, the running back here. Bucky Irving, who's been fantastic for Tampa Bay, will be a top 8 running back in drafts next season. Is this buy or sell?
Assuming everybody comes back, Godwin, Evans, Mayfield, I see no reason why they wouldn't. I'm going to buy this, Craig. I'm going to buy. I think Bucky Irving is going to be that guy. It's a heavy passing offense, lots of touchdowns. Buy.
Fantasy Sports Today, your weekend source for year-round fantasy insights, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Back right here on SportsGrid.
Information is flying.
It's Sunday morning crunch. Our NFL insider Adam Kaplan will be here in just a moment, though. I almost want to let NFL insider Lisi Joe give it a spin. What? Yeah, any intel on the streets?
It came from one of the Texas outlets in terms of that NFL teams are interested in Steve Sarkisian as potentially an NFL candidate.
His agent's working right now, isn't he?
Oh, there you go.
Smart move before you're going to get beat. That's by the way, college football, those agents are the best. You sign up for a big deal the week before you know you're getting beat, and all these colleges cave for that.
Texas could be live against the Buckeyes.
Yeah, I was thinking the same, and now I don't understand. He's got his eye out the door.
Yes,
I don't like what I'm hearing.
He knows what's coming down the line.
Very quickly, just because we didn't get to it, Cardinals-Niners.
I like the Cardinals, and I think we get through the total. A lot of incentives in that game, and Kyler needs to step up.
Yeah, for me, Kyler, I took him, I think it was, 28.5, I think is his rushing number. 50 and a touchdown gets him a lot of money. I think he gets them both, to be honest.
Yeah, I took Josh Dobbs over 225.5 passing plus rushing. Josh Dobbs in the Niners offense, I think they're going to let him do really whatever he wants, quite frankly. I should be playing Ricky Pearsall through every number, but we should have did that last week, so shoulda, woulda, coulda. All right, let's hit that stinger and crunch it up here, prop style. It's a real guessing game, I say. All right, Lisi, talk to me here. What do you got props-wise?
Yeah, so we talked about the Green Bay game. I believe that the starters will play, and I talked about how Jordan Love hasn't performed in terms of the passing attack. Last 4 weeks, they've averaged right around 200 passing yards per game. His number was 213.5 last night. It's down to 203.5. I think Jordan Love breaks out with a huge first half, second half performance. Give me Jordan Love over 203.5 passing. Same game. Cole Kmet has killed me in recent weeks, but 15.5, an adjusted number down. I know that they're on the road. I know it's cold weather, but checkdowns in terms of this environment, I think he can blow through that. 25 plus is, I believe, plus 250. So keep an eye out for that. But over 15.5, I think has great value. And then the game in terms of Washington and Dallas. Zach Ertz has huge incentives, like 9 receptions, 90 yards. I don't know if he gets there, and even the touchdown, but he did have over 90 yards receiving last week, 39.5. I think they look to him early and often today.
Yeah, we'll go toe-to-toe on a couple of these ones, specifically with Jordan Love. I'm going under 220.5. You say, wow, what is the big discrepancy here? Caught a good number yesterday, bet it. Joe's on the opposite side. And, look, Jordan Love's going to air it out 3 or 4 games, hasn't reached 220. But today in the frozen tundra, and I mean this football game, we're going to air that bad boy out 275, 280, 290. I'm going under in that one here as we match up here with Jordan Love. Cortland Sutton, touchdown today, plus 130. We know the incentives. He has to go over 82.5 yards for a lot of money, but I also think it weighs into multiple touchdown passes. Hint, hint for Bo Nix. One of those guys is going to be Cortland Sutton. And then Justin Herbert, who last night when I went to bed, we weren't sure if they even needed this football game. Woke up today, they need this football game, so I'm going to take Justin Herbert over 1.5 touchdown passes, something he's done in 3 straight games, boys.
Let me check the docket here. Where'd you get that Jordan Love number at? I don't know.
We're Lisi. Which one are we questioning, by the way? That's the question.
That's a good question, man.
That's a good question.
No.
That's a good question. All right. I see how it goes.
Listen, I don't know.
His number's 203.5 today. It was 213.5 last night.
Is this segment almost over? I have no idea. Time check.
We got timestamps out there on X. Let's go.
That's not bad. All right, Sunday morning crunch. Shall we? Give me Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
Over 17.5 receiving yards.
Oh.
Bijan.
Read that wrong.
Ooh. No, over 17.5 rushing
That's what
yards.
I thought it was.
Called a good number.
No, rushing attempts. Yeah, I was like, well, this is a good one. I read it wrong. Oh, well.
And rooting against me now on the other side?
Yep.
All right, do what you got to do. Give me Bijan, though. Over on the rush attack. No, receiving yards.
See?
What am I saying?
Got him.
Over on his receiving yards. He has missed this in 4 straight, but was targeted 5 times by Michael Penix last game. With Mooney out, McLeod benched, we could see a lot more here today for Bijan Robinson in the receiving game. I like Caleb Williams over 31.5 pass attempts, consistently seeing quarterbacks through this number against Green Bay. I also think there has to be a level of air it out, let him find some rhythm, some momentum, something to be happy about in this lifeless Chicago Bears season that has unfolded in a disastrous way. And then lastly, just mention it. Give me Joshua Dobbs over 225.5 passing plus rushing. Dobbs last year in situations probably not as friendly and certainly games that meant a lot more was averaging right around this in terms of combined yardage. Now steps into an offense that averages over 250 passing yards per game. Dobbs more mobile than Brock Purdy. I think he gets well through this against that Arizona Cardinals defense. Let's turn it over. We're going to have Adam Kaplan join us next right here. It's Pro Football Today.
We'll be right back. It's time for a SportsGrid 2-minute drill.
Time now to play a little buy or sell. The Kansas City Chiefs, George, will win their 3rd straight Super Bowl. Are you buying or selling?
They do seem to be hitting their stride. All right, they get now, 3.5 weeks off here, get everybody healthy. Mahomes the ankle, Kelsey gets the rest. Chris Jones, who missed that game on Christmas, now he gets the rest of it. He's an extremely important part of that defense. So they're looking good. They're covering spreads now, something they weren't doing. Now they're actually winning legitimate games. That being said, that offensive line is still bad. All right, and I think there'll be teams that take advantage of that. No, I'm selling. I'm selling here.
I don't even care if I believe this or not. I'm selling. I do not want to see this. I do not want to see the Chiefs win again. This has not been a fun year watching them. They've gotten lucky. They've gotten some calls. No, please no. Jamar Chase will win the receiving triple crown this season. Yards, receptions, and touchdowns. George, you going to buy or sell this?
I'm going to sell this. I'm going to say, listen, he's great. He's going to have a lot of great numbers here, but I'm going to say no, he won't get the receiver crown. Maybe 2 out of 3 here. He'll just miss. He'll do a little Aaron Judge. He won't get the average.
All right, I'll play the buy. I'll play the buy card just to play something different in the end, and he was my best player in fantasy this year, so I'll say buy there. I'm going to skip ahead, Sam, to the last one, the running back here. Bucky Irving, who's been fantastic for Tampa Bay, will be a top 8 running back in drafts next season. Is this buy or sell?
Assuming everybody comes back, Godwin, Evans, Mayfield, I see no reason why they wouldn't. I'm going to buy this, Craig. I'm going to buy. I think Bucky Irving is going to be that guy. It's a heavy passing offense, lots of touchdowns. Buy.
Fantasy Sports Today your weekend source for year-round fantasy insights, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m.